Okay. Recording started. Recording started. This sucks. It sucks in this way that one moment I can go live directly into my Facebook group and on YouTube and everything, and the next minute I cannot. This is just a prime example of how a single mom's life is. It's like one minute things are working and everything's jiving and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden it's not. I'm just gonna say, this is working out in an unexpected way. Um, as my mom used to say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So what I'm gonna do is just record this and I will drop it in all of the social media areas and put some clips on Instagram as well. But I'll drop it on YouTube as a video, and and I'll put it in the Facebook group as well as on the Facebook page for Single Moms Level Up. So anyway, my name is Bess Parks, as you can see here, and I want to welcome you to day one of the Single Moms Level Up Conference. No, this is not how it was supposed to go. Yes, it's totally different and a little bit strange, and I'm very uncomfortable because this isn't going the way that I had planned for it to go, and the way I've done it before in the past. And so many things are not working now because of some of the updates and the permissions and all that kind of stuff that have gone on with social media. So got to do things differently. I was a little nervous coming on earlier, so I did. I ate some pretzels and got me going a little bit in my throat. But we're gonna make it through. We're gonna make it through. So anyway, welcome to day one of the Single Moms Level Up Conference 2024. My name is Bess Parks, and I am the founder and host for your Single Moms Conference, and as well as other events that I run through here. Um, we may have to switch to some different things, like start running things through Zoom again, um, or not even again, but I don't even think I ran things through Zoom before. But anyways, have to possibly start using Zoom so that we can invite people in, which means there's going to start being a limit to how many people I can have in the events, because it's going to be according to what the budget of that event is, and so there's going to be a limit to how many people can be in the event based on it's going to have to start being ticket sales. So these free events may have to start not being free no more. um, but unless you guys start following. So if you guys start following me, it told me, because this was the reason why it wouldn't let me go live, was it told me that if I get 100 followers, that it will allow me to start doing lives again. That it wasn't like that before. Before, you can go live anytime you wanted to, but now the stipulation is saying that you have to have 100 followers in order to go live. It says I'm almost there, so if you guys would follow and like um, my Single Moms Level Up page, it will allow me to do that. So on Facebook, it will allow me to do that. Of course, on my Instagram, I'm able to go live because I do have more than 100 followers, which thank God for that. But that's not where I run these events. I run these events on Facebook because I'm more familiar with the platform. But now I'm having to go through something else. So it's a good thing that I had another skill that I have been practicing and using in conjunction with and with Facebook and some other things. So it's a good thing that I even know that this platform that I'm using, which is called StreamYard, that I use. It's a good thing that I'm familiar with it, because if I wasn't, um, yeah, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I don't know, maybe using Instagram and posting it in other places, but then that content is no longer mine. It belongs to Instagram, and I don't have it as my own in my own archive. I would have to download it, which is going to be a lot, but I'd have to download it and do it that way. And that's always not the best quality. But anyway, we're going to move on away from that. This is where we're at. So welcome to day one of the Single Moms Level Up Conference. I just want to let you know what the whole premise of the Single Moms Level Up Conference is Single Moms Level Up is something that I founded when back in 2020. So but it started, and the scene got started back in 2014. So Tyler Perry had a movie that was called The Single Moms Club. I saw that movie, and being a single mom, I went and made sure I went and saw that movie. I wanted to see what it was all about. Once I watched it, I was excited, and I was just hoping that single mom clubs really existed. So I went out in my car, and after I watched the movie, and I looked it up and did not find a single moms club. Excuse me, I was so disappointed. So disappointed. Matter of fact, I was just straight up butthurt that there was not a single moms club that existed anywhere, that nothing showed up in the searches. And so I was disappointed. So I kind of let that go. And years, of course, have gone by since 2014. And then all of a sudden here comes 2020. And I'm sitting in line, in my car, waiting for, to be moved up in the line at a food pantry that is close to me. And this is in 2020, during COVID and stuff. And, not being able to work, had kids in the house and we had to eat. And so I was going to the food pantry that thank God this woman told me about, as I was shopping in the grocery store, whatever I had available to me. And I was about to purchase some milk. This woman stopped me and said, "Hey, don't buy that milk. I have some milk, a gallon of milk that I will give to you for free." And so she's like, "I'll give this to you for free, because and just know that I it's not opened. I just got it from this food pantry that's local, but I don't need it." And couldn't, I didn't have, the, she's like, I just couldn't tell them that I didn't need it, or didn't have enough time, whatever she said. And so, anyways, for whatever reason, deep down inside, I said, okay, I felt like I could trust this woman, even though I didn't know her. And she gave me this gallon of milk. And when I came outside, she told me about this food pantry. And I was like, what do you mean, food pantry? I was like, she's like, yeah, there's a food pantry. It's close by. She's describing where it is, but she couldn't remember the exact name of the street or anything of that sort. And she didn't even remember the name of the church that she went to. She just, I guess, found out about it and got there. But anyway, so come to find out through the conversation, I was like, is this church named this? And I was like, is it church on Masters Road? And she said, yes. And I was like, what? I was like, I know exactly where that is. It's up the street from me. I had no idea that they had a food pantry. It's a local church, but I didn't know what they did because I don't go to that church. I attend another church. But anyway, I'm sitting in the line there waiting. This is at least a week or so later, because they only pass out food once a week. But I'm sitting in line and I'm waiting. And this is weeks later. And I'm just like, look at how many, I'm looking over to see how many people are there that need help with food. And there was a lot of people there because, a lot of people didn't have jobs and weren't getting paid and whatever else was, going on throughout COVID. And it just made me so sad and it made me cry. I was like, what are single moms doing? And they only have one income. What are they doing? With the same thing I'm doing, and we're in these lines trying to get food to help us to feed our children. I didn't know what I was going to be getting from that food pantry, but that food pantry did a very good job. It was Church on Masters Road, and they did a very good job of helping and feeding the community. So they worked with the Houston Food Bank. They also worked with Lakewood Church, which is Joel Osteen and Victoria Osteen's church. So they worked with all these people, and they also worked with Helping Hands or something to that effect that also brought in. But they were giving us about $100 worth of food every single time you came up there once a week. And they would do it from 10 o'clock in the morning till 3. And they were just so helpful with that. And they would accept volunteers. And I decided that I wanted to, I felt like I needed to volunteer. I felt like I needed to participate where, uh, sorry, my allergies are really bad, where I was being, where I had the need, I wanted to participate in it. So anyway, I did that. And it was a somewhat humbling experience to ask for that kind of help, because I'm the type of person that I have been doing stuff on my own for quite some time, and I have a hard time asking for help. I'm doing much better now, but I still sometimes fall back into that old pattern. So it's not totally completely out of me, but I'm working on it. Um, but anyway, the whole premise of Single Moms Level Up came from that. And so while I was sitting there in that line, it was brought back to me, that memory was brought back to me about the Single Moms Club. And I was like, well, what, God, what am I supposed to do with that? What am I doing with the Single Moms Club? How am I going to do a Single Moms Club? Everything's shut down. It's COVID and everything. I didn't know what he was talking about. And so I ended up uh, participating in a challenge, which was a 30-day challenge, just as COVID was happening and things were being shut down. It's this challenge had already started and been going on for about a week to a week and a half. And so I went through that challenge, and it was a challenge that changed my life. So what came out of that was, with Single Moms Level Up, I help single moms with leveling up their lives by leveling up their lives by using a focus journal method. And this is without doing it alone, even if you have journaled before. So I had journaled before, but I had never journaled in this way until I experienced this in a single mom's, not a single mom, but a singles group at church. This was back in the day when they were doing passion and purity and stuff like that, and their purity packs and all those sorts of things. And so there was a book, and the doggonest thing is I cannot remember the name of this book, but I remember this way of journaling. And I thought, I'm not familiar with this. This is strange. I was uneasy with it. Um, and I didn't completely do it the way that they told me to, not until later on in life. And it's done and served me very well, and helped to keep me focused on where I'm trying to go as a single mom and a single parent. It's helped me a lot, because for us as single parents and single moms, it's easy for us to get distracted with just taking care of the kids, and we forget about ourselves and forget about our self-love that we need to do, which is all the internal work, working with our mind, our hearts, our souls, and our emotions. And we forget to do all of that and to care for that. And when we don't care for that, then we're not giving out the best that we can for our children. I realize that looking back, as I've done some work um, with the internal work that I needed to do within myself, to find out some of the reasons of why I was doing things that I was doing them, why I was reacting the way I was reacting to things. And this self work revealed some things to me. And this journaling, this way of journaling, has helped me through it, and helped me to reach some goals, and helped me to set out some courses of actions, and then to also focus on what are the benefits of me reaching these goals. And slowly but surely, I started seeing that I was starting to reach and achieve these goals, because I was running, actually listing them out, writing them down, and making it plain to myself, and in my journal, of what it is that I want to accomplish in the 5 areas of my life. And so the 5 areas of my life are personal, spiritual, um, physical, relational, and financial. And so those are the 5 areas of our lives that I found have been the most are the most they affect our lives the most. That's what I'm trying to get at. So they affect those 5 areas. If those areas are not being tended to, and not saying they can all be tended to at the same time, because that's a hard thing and it's almost never that way where everything is tended to. But we can work on this one, that one, this one, that one, work our way through it and come through it and kind of just go from one to the next to the next to the next to the next. So today is relationships. So it's I like to call it relationship Thursday, and so I thought I didn't even think about it, but this is a great time to start this challenge because it's relationships Thursday. So here in the Single Moms Club, we do we go from just surviving to CEO in every area of our lives through self-care, self-love, and supporting each other in community. Community is one of the best ways to go through life because we're not alone. You are not you. Let me get closer. You, you, single mom, are not alone. You're not by yourself. You're not doing this all by yourself. You can come in this group and ask for some help, ask for some guidance, and somebody will say something, and give you some type of guidance for whatever it is that you're going through. I keep it as a private Facebook group so that those people outside of the group that are not single moms or single parents um, can keep their mouth shut, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not a single parent, you can't close your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Close your mouth. Because until you're walking in our shoes, you really don't have much to say. You shouldn't have much to say. But I understand because when I was not a parent, I had so much to say about being a parent and this, that, whatever, until I became the parent. And then it's like, oh, I see this is like this and this is like that. So it's different when it's you and you have that child that you have to bring up and you're with that child 24/7, 365. It's different. My phone is reminding me of the conference. It's so late. Um, uh, but uh, but it's different when you're excuse me, when you're actually in it and being the single mom and having to navigate your way through that. The unfortunate thing is that most of the time, most of us single moms are feel as though we're alone, as though we're alone and doing this on our own because the kid's dad is not there for whatever reason. And there's a whole bunch of different reasons. This is not a bashing session on the dads of our kids. That's not what this is. This is a basically a support group and a community of single moms where we help each other with resources, with hey, I need this help with this, I need this help with that. um does anybody know, how to do this? This is what I need some help with, or to help somebody else by sharing your story as a single mom that may help somebody else, because you never know, somebody, especially in single parenthood, could be going through the same thing that you are, and you sharing your story can help somebody else. So that's something that I also found out too, because I was like, what do I have to give single moms, and then God started showing me and bringing up some of the things that people have said um, about me as I've raised my kids. So I'm going on 24 years of being a single mom. Um, not to say that the kid's dad and I were like together, but we weren't married. But we were in a relationship for 7 years, which was kind of off and on and very rocky towards the end. But it just didn't work out. We're not good together. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie called oh, dang, I can't think of it now, but it's got Will Smith in it. Dang, what is the name of that movie? Hancock, okay. Hancock, if you've ever seen Hancock, when they're close together, it's like a whole tornado and whole toxic, powerful, out of control thing that happens. And that's kind of just what it was. Us together is not a good thing, but apart we do much better. So that's just is what it is, But we do have some beautiful children that we made together, and I'm happy about that. I have no regrets about that. I learned a lot of things from about myself through that relationship. and I've gained my confidence back. So the theme of this, I gained my confidence back after that, and now I come at things from a different angle and have a very different perspective of things. So the theme of this conference is get your confidence back. And pardon me, get my confidence back. And how I did that was through this focus journaling. So uh and through through this focus journaling, and with it being a relationship Thursday, I thought this would be great. Why did well I After I realized what it was, and I was like, hey, this is relationship Thursday. This is a good day to start it, because that's the whole thing, is that we're in community, and to start this community of single moms where we can come and talk with each other and ask questions and share resources and things of that sort. So I looked it up, and the definition of a relationship is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or the state of being connected, was the main definition. And then another way of saying that is the way in which two or more people or groups consider or think of and behave towards each other. So if we're supporting one another, that's the thing that most of us want. We want the additional support without the judgment, without the hmm, without the side eyes, without the little snide comments or the undermining type things that people sometimes do, society does, and even the church sometimes does, without because they just don't acknowledge, period, the single moms that are out there. The babysitting is a much appreciated and loved concept for us when we do go to church. But that seems to be all we get. The focus seems to be on married couples. So then it makes us start thinking that, hey, we need to be married. We need to do this, we need to do that. Not saying that it's a bad thing to want to be married, because it's not. But as single people, how do we navigate that? Nobody's addressing that, and they're just kind of leaving us out in the wind. And so it's kind of make us feel like how the world makes us feel, like we're outcasts as well, and that we're the ones that are the cause of all the problems in the world because we only have a single parent household. But that's not the truth at all. We could still be and cultivate um uh um I lost my train of thought. We could still cultivate you know healthy healthy children, that are an asset to society and to the church as well. Healthy, positive, and um children that are good for society. um But our confidence comes from how we see ourselves and how also we treat ourselves. So how you see yourself, if you look at how you treat yourself, that's generally how you see yourself, because it comes from our thoughts. Our thoughts come from how we think of ourselves is how we treat ourselves. Our thoughts actually cultivate everything that we do. It comes out in all of our actions. Confidence also comes from who we are in relationship to who we are in relationship in our own circles. Um, the circle of people that you have around you, your confidence can sometimes come from that as well. And if that's a positive, your sphere of influence, the people that you live around, of your family, your friends, and work people, if those are positive people and you hang out with positive people, then more than likely you're a positive person too. So the way my mom used to say it was, birds of a feather flock together. And I never really totally got that. It didn't make sense to me because I guess you could say I was literal. I was very literal when I was younger. And so I was like, I didn't get it. I was like, why am I concerned with the birds? What are the birds doing? I didn't put it together, and my mom used to answer me with all those sayings. When life hands you lemons, make lemonade. I was like, why would I make lemonade? I'm allergic to lemons. So, it didn't make sense to me. So, just being from her generation, they didn't make things as clear as people do now. But I don't fault her for that. That's what she learned, and so she did the best that she could with the information that she had. Um, but here's a question. I wanted to know: did you know it is possible to have true? Wait. Do you know it is possible to have true connection and relationships with others online? Do you know that it is possible to have true connection and relationships with others online? I'd have to say that for myself, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that, and I had a problem with social media, period. I didn't understand it very well, and I just thought it was just the root of an evil, that was going to spread out, which kind of sort of has done some of that, because some of the things on social media are just a little crazy, which is why I'm sure that they're starting to stop all these things of people being able to go live, because some of the live things that were going on were just a little crazy and erratic. And so now they are trying to make sure that people are truly invested in having these things done, and that you have to have followers and all that stuff in order to go live. I'm sure that's part of one of the reasons why they changed some of the criteria of it. So I'm not mad at it. I kind of get it, but didn't get it fast enough, I guess, to get the followers that I need. But it's all good. Um, so I was introduced to the online groups in 2020. I knew of social media and everything, but I still didn't really use it too much until 2017, when we had Hurricane Harvey, because that was the only way that we can get that I was able to get information, and a lot of us were able to get information that did not live in the Houston proper area. So if you live on the outskirts and some of the suburbs and stuff, all the news was happening in the metro area, and they were not talking about the rest of us in the outskirts. And so it wasn't until I had joined um, a community that where I live, and they had, a private Facebook group. And so I was in that community. And so I went in there to see what was going on. And that's where the information was coming in, that, what to do and where to get these resources and all this other stuff and what was going on. And then I also used Twitter at the time, which, whatever it's changed to now, I don't know. I don't know what it is, threads. I don't know, but it's changed. I kind of just backed off away from it, because I was like, that this is too much for me to keep up with. So I just don't even bother with it now. But back then it was called Twitter. And so went on Twitter and reached out to one of the news stations and told them, hey, don't forget about us out here in the suburbs, and told them the landmark that I'm close to, and my subdivision and everything, and told them where it was. And it was, I'm sure it was myself and some other people. And sure enough, probably about 30 minutes later, 30 45 minutes later, one of the government planes that was checking out stuff flew by and saw, because we were stuck in our subdivision because we couldn't get out because the surrounding area was completely flooded. And so I was like, hey, we need a little bit of help out here too. And so they did that and got things going. So um, don't be afraid to try some new things, that may end up helping you in the long run. Because like I said, it was 2020 when I was introduced to Facebook, Facebook groups. Um, And so that's where a challenge that I participated in, that was a 30-day challenge, that it was inside of a Facebook group. So inside of that Facebook group, I learned how to navigate around and everything, and to see where things were located, guides and featured and all of this stuff that are in the Facebook groups. I participated in a Facebook group with some people that I knew back in California that I went to church with, and they had a Facebook group called Relationship Highs and Lows. And so we did that, and we were doing some lives and everything, um, where we would have, a night where we would just talk about relationships, friendships, marriages, all of it. We would talk about all that, the highs and lows, exactly what the title says. And that was really interesting and a good thing to do. Um, so I got introduced that way. I got introduced through that challenge that I went through. that I participated in with who is now my mentor, Pedro Adeo, and his wife Suzette started this group called 100X acceleration. I think they stopped the acceleration part, but it's 100X. And so we started that. And so I participated in that. And then there was Red Table Talk, which is they dismantled that, and so I was participating in that too, and that was more of them talking and you just watching, not them talking and you talking too. And there was a whole thing going on in the Facebook chat and all that stuff. I think they did kind of acknowledge people in the Facebook chat and started writing some of the things down and responding to questions, but um those are things, and that's how I started getting introduced to that. And so I started accepting a lot of this, a lot of the online options and resources that are available. Um, I was, like I said, I wasn't very fond of social media back then, but then now I'm much more open to it because I can see there's a good way of using it, a more positive way of using it, and there's also that way of where you're tearing down and talking bad about people and whatever else and all of the um, clapbacks and whatever else going on, and that's just ridiculous. I'm not participating in that, so you can choose to participate in that or not. Um, and let's see. When there is no other way to effectively communicate with others than social media, you could see that there's an importance for it. There's a use of it, because also one of the things that I found out was that if my phone is like acting stupid, or if I have to hold off paying the phone bill, the cell phone bill, and I can't pay it for right now, I could still go connect to Wi-Fi and actually reach out to the people I need to reach out to, my children mainly, through social media. So I can always call them, I could text them, and all that, I guess you can't really call it FaceTime because it's not really FaceTime, but video chat. There we go. I can video chat with them, and we can still keep in contact with each other in that way. So through that 30-day challenge that I told you I participated in, where I found a oh my gosh, where I found a mentor. I received a healed heart for some wounds that I thought were completely healed. I thought I was good, and then I learned the new skills, and then I became perfect, or became comfortable with getting things done, but not necessarily always perfect. Um, Perfection is something that is a setup for failure. I'm telling you, because nothing's ever going to be absolutely perfect. You can do the best you absolutely can and do a very good job, and it may still need some extra tweaks to it. But realize that what I realized, and what I want you to realize, single mom, is that you can do hard things, and single motherhood is the grounds, and gives the stamina and the determination. That's what single motherhood does for you, is it will show you that you can do hard things. You can do hard things. You can make decisions. Um, you can make good decisions in the midst of things that are going chaotic. You could do all these things. Single motherhood teaches you these things. Um, so I learned to accept single motherhood and my past as happening for me and not to me. That's an important thing, because for a while I was like, this is just happening to me and I'm being punished because I was buck wild, all the way through my 20s and whatever else. And so now I'm reaping the repercussions of me being out of control, and sleeping with this person and that person, that this is a punishment. But it wasn't a punishment, and I had finally realized that it wasn't a punishment. I was being blessed in the midst of me doing stuff that I shouldn't have been doing in the first place, and got blessed with two children that helped me to grow in many ways, and helped me to see my worth and to see things from a different lens. I'm not a statistic. Oh my gosh, I can't say that. I'm not a statistic, and neither are my children. Yes, we have some similarities with some other single moms, but that's not just who we are. We're more than that. We're made for more. Me and my kids and your kids and you and your kids are also made for more. Your story can help other people who may be struggling. So being a CEO is a state of mind. It's not just a position at a job or somebody that's high up in a company. We are CEOs in every area of our lives, and that's chief executive officers, the decision making people in every area of our lives. I told you about those 5 areas of my life that I've started focusing on that have started making some extreme changes in my life. And that was, personal, that was spiritual, that was physical, that's relational, and that's finances. In basically in that order, when you start paying attention to all 5 of those things, not saying you got to do them all at the same time because that's a hard thing to do, but if we pay attention to them and work on them a little bit at a time, and don't underestimate small beginnings. Small beginnings is where it adds up to the big things. It's not always the big gigantic things that make things. It's the things that lead up to those, the things that build up to those larger things happening in our lives that will help us out. One example of that is this. I kept hearing people say, get your finances in order, this, that, whatever. I was like, how am I going to do that? I'm a single mom. How do I do that? Explain to me how that happens. So I realized that I was not financially literate back in 2019. I knew the basics, but I kept was going in this vicious circle. And I was like, why is this happening? How do I get out of this? I don't know how. And nobody really could tell me how. They would, just throw money at it and say that should be good and figure it out. I was like, figure what out? How do I figure this out? Tell me what to do. Because I did not really have financial literacy. And apparently they didn't either because they couldn't give me the answers to that. So I went out searching for that financial information and I found that back in 2019. So just before, in 2019, I had found a couple that has a YouTube channel called His and Her Money, and Ty and Talit. And they gave some very good information. They took a 30-year mortgage, and I believe they paid it off in 5 to 7 years, is what it is, what I remember. I don't remember if it was 5 or 7, but I just know that they paid it off way earlier than was attended. They had their children to go with them to the bank when they paid their last payment. It was a big deal there, and they made that a point to make it a financial point in their lives that their children would remember, and so they would remember. So they started doing some things, and they actually started picking up and gaining relationships with people that had financial education and financial information that they were sharing. And so when it came down to 2020, I signed up for their. I'm sorry, I just totally bit my tongue. But I signed up for their financial literacy, which is I think it was called something university, but anyway, I signed up for their financial education program, and so I signed up for that, and so I ended up doing that all throughout 2020. And they had some really good people on there that gave some really good information about financial literacy and how to work these things out. And so I started realizing that, regardless of the fact of where I don't know where to start, was I needed to start saving in order to start paying things off. And I was like, finally, somebody tells me what to do. I was like, I feel like I'm stretched to my limit. But if you do it as a direct deposit, you don't even see it. It's gone and put into a whole separate savings account. And for me, because I knew my spending habits at that time, I put it in a savings account, and that savings account has limitations on it. First off, it's only a savings account, so it's not a debit card. I can't go swipe the card, anywhere and everywhere, because I put limitations around that card. Now that bank, which is a credit union, uh, which has the best returns on a savings account, is always going to be a credit union, and it helps out the community as well. Um, I I put limits on it because it was allowing me to use that card anywhere. It's similar to a debit card, but only in the places where I said that I could, said I wanted to use it. Now that particular institution, credit union, has knocked that off because I guess there were too many fraud issues of people using the card, and now it's basically an ATM card. That's it. So all you can do is use it at the ATM. You can't use it anywhere else. And that was fine with me because that limited me. Because now, if I wanted to do something, I had time to think about what I was going to spend that money on as I was driving there to the bank and then driving away. I have time to think about, what am I spending this money on, and is it really worth it for me to spend this money on it? Is it a need, or is it just a want? Um, so that has helped me out. That was just a little tidbit there. Um, yeah, so how we think about ourselves determines how we single moms uh, matter to us. How we matter to us. We teach people how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. So if you find yourself, including myself, if I find myself running into the same dude time and time again, there's something in me that needs to be healed, or and addressed, that is within me, that I may need to do some inner healing work. And how we think about ourselves determines how we act and how we react to everyone and everything. That's a hard pill to swallow, that's the case. And that's not just for single moms, but I'm just bringing up in the single moms conference, because with us not having that other person to bounce things off and have these conversations with, it does make us feel alone because we have nobody to talk to. And when these things come up, or how we're having these feelings, and sometimes, family will help in some time in that way, but sometimes they don't. Maybe you have friends that are also single moms who you could talk to, but for whatever reason, you feel like you don't want to bother them, or you don't want to keep coming to them with the same stuff, or all your problems. You don't want to be a bother to them, but know that they do have information that they're willing to share with you, and you don't have to go to them with everything. That's why this journaling portion of it is a big help as well. So that journaling helps to take some of that load off of your friends and family, of you always going to them with all these things, and you can journal these things out. And if you journal according to these five areas that I spoke of, then these things will come together, and you'll get a lot of answers for yourself as well. But the love that we have for ourselves is a love that we share with and for others. Um, I started going to a therapist this year, which was a hard thing for me to incorporate in my life, because I grew up in a Christian home, where and my experience in my Christian experience had been, oh, you pray about it, you pray about everything, just pray about it and leave it to God. And now I've opened my mind up, and have accepted the fact that God has given the gift of therapy, of being a therapist and a counselor, to people to help you. The way that God helps us is through people. So if you don't accept the help that somebody's trying to give you as a therapist, or it's there for you, then that's of a disservice to yourself. That's what it is. It's a disservice to yourself, and not allowing and expanding your horizons to allow yourself to be healed. So after I went through that 2020 challenge, where I got some inner healing, I started realizing that there are some things inside of me that I need to let out, so that I can move forward and upward and level up and have that new perspective and receive the things that God has for me. I accepted therapy, and then I went to Woman Evolve 2023 with Sarah Jakes Roberts, and that was a very it was a confirmation and very eye-opening experience as well. I went by myself, and I have not in the past. I'm not going to say that I'm not anymore, but in the past, I've had issues with being around large groups of people. So I went to this event. I knew it was going to be a large group of people. Didn't know exactly how large it ended up being until after I came home. But the point was is that I was there and I felt so it felt like such an intimate place to be. And that experience was I'll do it again. It was so good that I would do it again. So I found out later on that there were 40,000 people there. If I'd have heard that number before I went, I probably would have talked myself out of going. But I rented a car. I took my grandson to go see his other grandmother who's up in the Dallas area, and ended up staying with them and went to the event and participated in that and came back and just really had a mountaintop experience is what I call it. It was a mountaintop experience and I came back definitely changed in a different person. But I through that, that's where I got introduced to therapy, and that is therapy, prayer and therapy. And that was Dr. Anita Phillips that helped me with that understanding. And I believe she helped a lot of us with that. And so I started following her on social media and got her book, The Garden Within, and found a very comprehensive to me um, understanding of prayer and therapy, and that they can go together. And I also know that God and his kingdom are and, it's not or, but and. It's always adding, it's never taken away. It's not this or that, it's this and that. And so I've come to accept that. And so I had started therapy. And so anyway, I'm saying this all to say that my therapist says you can only care for others as much as you care for yourself. Um, we have to fill our own cups over these next few days. Let's fill our own cups over these next few days, today included, today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Let's fill our own cups so that we have the capacity to go into overflow, so that we can give to our children better and be there for our children better and be there for ourselves. I want to challenge you today or this evening to fill out the pages that are from the Single Moms Level Up Focus Journal that I'm going to download into the group, into the guides. I will put that in the guides. If you're part of the Single Moms Club, which is the private Facebook group on Facebook, this is where these guides are. This is where this information is going to be at. You'll need to go and join that group in order to get these pages from the journal. Um, and don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to share what you put on those pages with everybody in the group, but you can put your comments and your feelings and how you felt about when you filled out the information in these pages for yourself. It'll also help you with starting your own journal. Or you could purchase the journal, a digital copy of the journal with all the pages for all the days, the 5 days of the week. Actually, I think I have 7 days on there, maybe six, but you could purchase the journal with the other days in there from my store. Should you like to do that, and just go to the link in my bio, and you can find that on the Single Moms Level Up or Single Moms Level Up on Instagram. You can find that store as well. But I'm going to put it in the guides, and once you decide that you're going to do that, click the done button. That way you could have that checked off, saying that you went ahead and downloaded it. Um, and share your takeaways. Share your takeaways in the group, the Single Moms Level Up group. I'm going to say share your takeaways also on YouTube, because I'm going to post that as well. Share your takeaways on that, and your aha moments. And you can even go live if you're in the Single Moms group as well. If you're comfortable with doing that, you can go live and talk it out instead of writing it out. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching this recording. Thank you for understanding the live is not happening. This is crazy, because when I did an event or did something a while back, it was just last month, and they've changed stuff already. And so we're just going with the flow, as sometimes that's we single moms have to do. I want to say see you at the same time tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard. What I'll do is I'll have to just come on and record this for you and drop it in the group. Um, Drop it in the group and on the YouTube channel as well. And I'm just gonna say hashtag single moms level up. No matter what the way you have to do it, there's more than one way to skin a cat. That sounds like a real odd thing to do. It's basically just saying there's more than one way to do things. And sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do. And that's what single moms do the best. So much love. This is Bess, single mom of two plus two. That means I got two children and two grandchildren. But I will see you guys tomorrow via the recording. And by all means, put your comments, your aha moments, and get your pages for yourself so that you can start journaling and leveling up in each and every way. So let's go from just surviving to CEO in every area of our lives through self care, self love, and supporting one another. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.